Hello, welcome to my channel Maha's Musings. This is a very special episode today because I'm going to be doing an interview and be in conversation with a writer. As you know, for those who've been tuning in, I've been doing mostly book reviews this far. But in my first episode on my YouTube channel, I mentioned earlier on that this would be a channel that's all things book related, including book reviews and more. So today's guest, Artika Aurora Bakshi, has written 3 books so far.
What types of books?
These are fiction, and the 3 books which she's written so far are called My Little Sikh Handbook, My Little Sikh Handbook to Ardas, and My Little Sikh Handbook Travel Journal Visiting Amritsar.
Aren't they also for kids?
They are for children like you, and you thoroughly enjoy them. And they're also for adults as well. And because I've read one of them, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the thing is that, Musa, you and I are about to go on holiday, and this is the perfect book to go through because it has to do with kids on holiday. Now, Artika is an avid reader, teacher, book critic, passionate writer, and most of all, a mother. So without further ado, let's carry on. Welcome to Artika. So welcome, Artika. I'm so excited to have you here today on Maha's Musings. And this is a very special episode because you're the first writer I'm officially interviewing on Maha's Musings. So this is always going to stay with me.
Oh my God, I'm super happy to be here, especially with you and Musa. And it's an honor being with you, Maha's Music, because I'm following you and I'm loving the books that you're posting about.
Thank you so much. And it's an equally big honor for me as well. Artika, you describe yourself as an avid reader, teacher, book critic, passionate writer, but most importantly, a mother.
Yes.
Now, without further ado, I'd like to just open up our conversation and start off with, first of all, just tell us, how do you juggle all of this, as a book critic, a writer, a mother, an avid reader? How do you sort of organize yourself, and then manage to publish all these books? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Maha, a few people have asked me this question, and I've thought a lot about it. And I think if you enjoy what you're doing, there is always time for everything. So teaching is something which just fell into my lap. I'm not a trained teacher as such, but it just fell into my lap and I started enjoying it. Writer, it just happened one day, though my school friends, say that we always knew you'll write something. Technically, I did my MBA, so I should be working with banking and finance. But somehow, you plan something, but life takes you on another road.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, these are the 2 things that I enjoy. Writing for sure, reading. So that's how the book reviews came up with a friend of Maninder's. So, she knew I love reading and she said, how about we start something together? And it was the Good Book Corner where we started interviewing authors, started reviewing books. So that one little thing, I think it just refined my reviewing skills. So because of that, then magazines and newspapers started coming and they said, we'd like to carry your reviews. That happened, and writing just happened because I love journaling from a very young age.
Okay.
So writing was just happening. And there was this story inside me. My first short story.
Yeah.
The one I read about the Jallianwala Bagh.
Oh, that's lovely. Yes.
It was inside me, and I just wrote the story and I showed it to Maninder, and I said, because I said he will give me the right thing that won't just put me up on a pedestal, and he'll tell me what it is. And I said, just see if it's a waste of time or it's something. And he read it. He said, you know what? It's something that you can take forward. And that was my first story, close to my, because it's history and
Yes.
it's a spritzer.
Absolutely.
So, both the things.
I read all she had left, at night. And it stayed with me. It was a very reflective story, a short story, very reflective and poignant. It stayed with me, and I like the whole history aspect to it. I like how your stories, they're fiction and they bring out culture, heritage, identity, all of that together, and it's also educational as well for little kids and for adults as well. While I was reading it, there were things which I had a general knowledge about, but you wove in history in such a way that you kept me gripped. And the interesting thing is that you're not just a short story writer or a children's writer. I mean, some of your themes have to do with horror and supernatural. I was like, that's a different take, but a very welcome one, because I like that bit. I like mysteries and all. So this supernatural aspect to it with a little bit of open-ended, give it your own interpretation kind of thing was welcoming. It was like, okay, she does this as well. Okay.
Thank you so much, because I've been interviewed by a few people, but you're the first one to catch that little bit. I don't sort of highlight that bit out. It's mainly about the short stories or the quotes I write or the children's books. But that mystery thing is something quite interesting. Even I don't know how it happened, but there were a few. And thank you. It feels really nice. With the children's books as well. With two boys and being away from India, it's, like you're a very hands-on mother. So I've always been a hands-on mother, and you feel if you give your 100% to your children and treat them with respect and equals, then there is the interaction between a parent and a child can take a totally different angle. So for me, all the things that we were doing, Maninder and I, with our children, trying to expose them to history, culture, not just Indian or Sikh, but wherever we go, museums are on our list, historical books, we'll do our little research and then talk about it. So with the children's books as well, this is something I'd done with the kids while they were growing up. And then they are grown up. They don't need me anymore, but I just felt that I needed to pen these things down and share them with others.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of information which you have, which you can share. It comes out in your fiction. For example, I wanted to know that you live in Sri Lanka. You've been living there for X amount of years. So tell us, how has living abroad played a part in your writing? And I ask this with genuine curiosity, having lived abroad myself for many years. And I think the fact that you bring culture and history into your stories, is that because having lived abroad, you have this, consciousness about, balancing what you want your children to learn about life at home and life abroad? How does that work?
Yeah, I've been in Sri Lanka for 22 years. Before that, we were in Moscow for 3 years. And that your question has the answer in itself, because I wanted to stay connected to our roots, our culture, and I've anyways always been a history buff. So, in the need to stay connected, the want to expose my children to that, it's somehow just, and having a lot of time. As an expat, you do have a lot of time because, you don't have the social pressures or the family responsibilities that you may have when you're living in the country where you are from, or the city where your parents and your, family and friends are. So I had that time, plus the need to make sure that my children were always connected with who we were and who we are, that sort of just kept me going. And because I used to journal,
Right.
so it was easier for me to write and put all that into books for everyone else, and stories as well. Even the quotes that I write as Soul Nightingale, some of them are, from people all around me. Suppose you hear someone's story, or you've read a particular book. You read a lot as well. So if you've read a book, I always pause after finishing the book and I try and think, what if I was one of the characters? How would I feel? So many a times the quotes I write are reflective of the character I go into, or the story I've heard from a friend, or my own mood. So I'm sure you understand that, because you also read quite a bit and you write and you have the exposure to history and literature.
That is exactly what I was going to ask you. Like, where do you get your information for writing your books? And you kind of answered that in a way.
Yeah, for the children's books, as well as for all she had left, I did a lot of research, because
Right.
when you're writing something historical and something with facts in it, you need to make sure that everything is accurate. Because as a reader, I do Google whenever I'm reading, whether if there's a place that has been described, I will Google that place and try and see what it looks like.
Right.
So then I have it in my mind. I have read a few books where historically, there have been errors, and then you, as a reader, you feel disappointed because you feel that the author has not put in enough effort. So that's the reason I try and keep everything accurate. I hope so.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because you can catch someone out. Being a history buff, you would know, you have a sort of discerning eye, obviously. And my favorite part of, my Little Sikh handbook travel journal was how these kids, Nanki and Himmat, they are on this trip, on a train, and they're looking outside, and the parents, family members are like encouraging them to sort of learn about their surroundings through play or by observing things. And I thought to myself, Artika, this book that you sent me has come at such a time that Musa and I are about to embark on a journey ourselves. We're off to Dubai. And I was like, so there's always a reason sometimes a book comes your way at a particular time. And although he's on summer break, and again, this book, which you shared with me, is also a perfect read for summertime, because you're off school, yet you want to stay connected with a little bit of fun and education at the same time. So yeah, and Musa, you're going to be journaling as well this summer.
Yeah, because in the book, when you read Himmat and Nanki go, Musa, when Himmat and Nanki are traveling to their Nana and Nani's house from Delhi to Amritsar.
And they look the same age as him as well.
Yeah, and in the end, once you finish the Amritsar little journal entry pages, there are these blank pages. So Musa, I'm looking forward to what you're going to fill in, the travel entry pages with a photograph, and please share it with me. So Himmat asks his mother here in the end, about Disneyland. So can we take this book with us to Disneyland?
Right, yeah.
Musa's going to take you to Dubai. That's a nice title, yeah? Visiting Dubai with Musa.
So Artika, from all the stories that you've written and stories that you've read, do you have a favorite character? Any particular character that stays with you, or you have a, special place?
Everyone who studied literature in school, every girl has always liked Mr. Darcy.
Ah.
So I used to love Mr. Darcy, but today I wish Mr. Darcy's mother, he didn't have a mother because his mother was quite ill as well at some time. Yeah. So I wish I had taught him a little better. So his parents had handled him a little better, so he would have been a slightly pleasant man. Gone are those days of Mr. Darcy being the favorite character. Today, I would say my favorite character is the latest book that I have read. I'm trying to think. It's very difficult to say which character is favorite, but have you read Shaggy Babe?
No, it's based in Scotland, right? About this young boy and his mother. I know which book you're referring to, but I haven't read it.
Yes. So Shaggy, for me, it's a very intense book, but I do, we do read these books that get some prize or some kind of recognition to see what was liked about that book. So certain books you feel that you really don't know what the panel found in them, because as a reader you do have a right to judge a book, even if you disagree with the panel that awarded the prize to the book. But with Shaggy, I felt that character was so beautifully portrayed, with the little delicate notes of the character, the hardships he went through. So from all the latest books that I've read, I like Shaggy.
Okay. And what kind of books do you like to read? Do you have any particular genre you like to read, or you're open to all sorts? Any particular books?
Like you, I read everything, and the Thursday Murder Club that you read as well. I like that as well, but I lean towards historical fiction.
Okay.
And a lot of non-fiction as well. But now, given that, in Sri Lanka, there was a lot of turmoil and there was a lot of anxiety. The anxiety levels were high. So I was looking for uplifting literature. So, and the latest book I read was The Authenticity Project, which was so beautiful and so uplifting. So lately I've been leaning towards those.
Well, I can say that All She Had Left is definitely on my list of one of my favorite historical fictions. Really, Artika, I'm not saying that because I'm speaking with you, but because I felt I learned a lot from reading that. It's a story about hopes, uncertainty, hopes dashed, fighting for freedom, being at the wrong place at the wrong time. For Meher Kaur, just as she gets to hear Dilawar's response, I don't want to give too much away. It gives her a fluttering of hope and relief, when she meets him. But then circumstances have a way of either presenting or denying you a future. And it was deep. And and there was this history attached to it, Jallianwala Bagh. Frankly, I knew about it, but I had never read about it in this very poignantly and beautifully told story. And I think your stories have a way of making the reader, at least me, feel, I think I need to learn a bit more about this.
Thank you so much. And, for a writer, every character, every story is special because, you spend so much time with it. But being my first story and being, set in Amritsar, where I am from, and it's
beautiful. I've been to the Golden Temple. Yeah.
And when she's looking out and you can see the Golden Temple, because there was a time I was in Amritsar last week, and I was showing the point from where you could view the Golden Temple to my children. We just got back to Gurgaon yesterday, and I was showing them the point. I said, with all this construction that has happened, you cannot view the Golden Temple. But it's giving me the shivers when I'm talking to you about this story, because it's my favorite. And just when she's standing there on the terrace, that's special.
Yeah. So I'm sure you see, the characters. She would definitely be a character that stayed with you. I'd like to ask you, what do you think as a writer? Do you feel that in terms of story writing, is the character more important or the plot? You don't have to have either or, but what do you think?
I would say character, because when your character is the character that you want, with certain qualities, description, characteristics, you can always weave a plot. And writers weave stories, weave plots, but if your character is not strong enough, I think your story fails.
Yeah, yeah.
So Meher in 1919 was who she was, but Meher today, I can write a story with the same Meher, I feel. And you know what?
Yes.
I never thought of it earlier, but maybe I will try and explore that.
Yes, because she's almost like a contemporary character, right? She's somebody, she's got a mind of her own. She has strong feelings about things. She questions things, and yet she's a character from the past, but you could very easily imagine her having shades of even friends or people you know.
Yes. So, since we were not there in 1919, it did take some time to try and imagine what life would have been like, what was, the way people live, the societal pressures, the societal norms. But yeah, you're so right. And I'm amazed, Maha, how well you have analyzed the story. I've never had an in-depth conversation about this story with anyone.
Wow.
And I'm loving it. I'm really, really happy. It's made me very happy.
So, Artika, tell me, when you write a story, do you have a particular place you go to write, at home, or do you have a special niche? Where do you write?
I just write anywhere. Sometimes, even on my phone, I will write down a paragraph or a little bit. If something comes to my mind when I'm in the car or just doing something, and suddenly, even when I'm sleeping, if I have an idea or, I'm almost ready to fall off to sleep, and if there is a quote that's coming into my mind or something, I just pick up my phone and I just start typing. And then later on, I copy it onto my device, and then I sort of refine it. So I can write anywhere. I think everyone can write. I keep telling people, everyone can write. It's not important that you publish something every time, but I think everyone should write.
So how
Just
much
take some time.
How much do you write in a day? Do you do it? Is it a daily discipline sort of a ritual?
No, it's not disciplined, because I feel if it's fixed and it's disciplined, I won't be happy, because I'm not the kind of person you can put into, fixed schedules and fixed boundaries. So for me, the moment it becomes fixed and forced, I'll stop writing.
Do you have, as a writer, any particular ritual or habit or some kind of a personal quirk or something that you need to do, or that you do, as part of your whole writing, thinking process?
I'm loving this interaction with you. I need my coffee and I need my cookie with me, and I can write anywhere, anytime.
Okay. And do you feel that the more we read, the more a person reads, the more we sort of obviously learn from history, but do you feel that people actually take something from it, or do we just sort of learn and move on? How important is reading for one?
Reading is very important, but there are different kinds of readings. If you're reading for a book club, and it's that you need to discuss this particular book, and everyone's reading it. So if you're reading because everyone's reading it, or because it's for a particular engagement, not everyone takes something out of it. But I feel everyone who reads, if they are not in a rush and they pause for a bit while they are reading, and they pause after they finish reading, and I think just give it a little bit of attention, mindfulness. I mean, we keep talking about mindfulness, but reading needs mindfulness as well. So I think when you are mindful, you always get something out of a book. or anything that you're reading. And I feel everyone's rushed most of the time to finish a book or to discuss it, or because it's the latest fad everyone's reading. So that's where they miss out on the little essence or the little message that book is trying to give. And I think every writer is putting a little bit of themselves in every book they write.
It's true. Do you have any advice for upcoming or aspiring writers? You know, something you'd like to share with them that they probably may not know?
Not really. Just keep writing, because and don't worry if not everyone likes your writing, because you're not catering to people here. If you're writing for yourself and you're writing from the heart, there will be other people who will connect with your writing. Not everyone. Even if it's 10% of your readership that connects with you, you've already, achieved something. I think that's all I can say.
Okay, that's good. And is there
What do you think? What do you think about it? If somebody asked you,
right,
what would you say?
I think yes. I think you need to not think too much about who your audience is. Will it include this and that? You need to, if you feel you have something to say, and follow it. Even while you're writing. Let's say it takes a bit of a different turn. That's okay. Just keep writing and writing, because I feel that once you get into that flow and you feel that you yourself are connecting somehow with what you're writing, and you can share it with somebody who you trust, or you feel somebody is going to give you that honest feedback, like a sounding board, then go with it. Because never doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Don't second guess yourself.
So I was told, never let your family read your writing, because they will try and give you good comments so as not to hurt you. But I realized, especially with my children, my husband, my sister, if I make them read my writing, they will always give me an honest feedback. And you're right, it's not just that you've written something and it's perfectly fine. I have changed things around or refined them 10 times, 12 times. But like the idea for all she had left was all there. So nothing changed from the beginning, but I just had to refine it a bit. That's all. But with my Little Seek handbooks, many a times I was told, okay, why don't you put something in the beginning, and why don't you change the layout of this, so always, and factually, why don't you add a little bit? And I was quite lucky to get the illustrator, because the picture was in my mind, but I was finding it difficult to put it out there. And I did go through 2-3 different illustrators, and then I found Priyanka Gupta, who's just amazing. What was in my mind is right there, and my book designer, Bhabhi Mehta, perfect. She just knew, and they are not Sikhs, but they just knew how to put everything out there.
Very nice. Yeah. It's very attractive. Is there a question, Artika, before, we're going to wrap up soon. Is there a question that has not been asked of you as a writer by someone speaking with you or interviewing you that you want to share here? I'd like to know, Maha, funnily enough, this question has never been asked of me as a writer. Is there some question you'd like to share here with me?
You know what? There is no question that I can think of, because you have asked me some of the questions which were never asked. So today, after our interaction, I can say there is no question that I would have liked to answer which has not been asked. So with you, everything that I think, it's just been the most comfortable interaction, and very, very heartwarming, because you've spoken about things which I've not thought of for a long time. I have not revisited All She Had Left for a very long time, because it was my first story.
The powerful one.
Yeah, so the way you've spoken about that, and the mystery thrillers, people don't even know I have done those little things, and my stories have that element. So
they just add that layer to you as a writer, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's very refreshing.
Thank you. Thank you. It's lovely. And since I'm the first author you're interacting with, you know, I'm looking forward to listening to your other interviews, because I'm dying to know how you would interact with the other authors, what you're going to ask them. So I'm already waiting for your next one.
Well, it's been great to speak with you today, and thank you so much for joining us today, Artika. And you know, you can find Artika's books on Amazon and her short stories on storymirror.com. And Artika, you're also on Instagram at soul.nightingale.
Yes. So look forward to interacting with many more people. But I'm also looking forward to Musa's travel journal page from Dubai.
Sure.
Please share it.
You heard that, huh? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
She's and we're actually just leaving in a few days, so this has come at a very, very nice time. Thank you so much, Artika, for joining us, and thank you everyone for joining us. Look forward to your comments or any feedback that you may have. And when I am watching this video next, Musa and I are going to be in a different country. We're going to be in Dubai when our chat and interview is posted. So we look forward to it. And once again, thank you so much for joining us, and have a good weekend.
Thank you, Maha, and have a good holiday.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.